Hey everybody, this is Blaine Weddle with Mettler Toledo in the USA, and somebody asked me the question today on how to create an inset plot to highlight a region where there's a small change and show it on in the same plot with a region of larger change in a TGA or DSC curve. So I'm happy to do that for you today. Uh, so we're looking at a TGA curve right now that goes from 100% down to 0 over about a 400-degree range. And the question to create a type of plot where this would be useful would be one where there's maybe a small mass change in the beginning of the curve, but you're not 100% certain it's there. So I'm going to, first of all, just verify that. I'm going to draw a box around it. This is a good practice anytime you're looking at what you think is a flat line. Draw a box around that region and zoom it. Looks like there may be something going on there. I can tighten that zoom a little further to confirm. Draw the box and then zoom again. You can see, yeah, there is a region maybe somewhere in here where there's a difference in the rate of mass change. So yeah, let's show how to highlight that. I'm going to go back to automatic scaling. To highlight that and basically put it in the screen a second time, you have to do, or it's good to move it to a relative y-axis first. That way, I'm gonna ultimately have to open a second copy of the curve, and if I make my y-axis, it'll let me, or variable, then I can move it apart. So I'm gonna go to the Open Curve menu, choosing File, and then in the Curve section, and clicking Open. Then my curve list will come up, and I'll select that curve out of my list and hit open, and there, boom, I've got 2 copies of the same curve. Let's say I want to move the red one into an inset box. The way to do that is to just draw a box where you want the red curve to go, and then I know my screen recording software doesn't allow me to show when I right click, or doesn't show the menu. So you just got to trust me. All you got to do is select your red curve and then right click on that red curve. You'll get move to new coordinates is an option. And when you click that move to a new coordinates, when you have a curve selected and a box drawn, it will move that curve into that box in a separate coordinate system. And now I can make both curves fixed y-axis again if I like, just like that. Now what I want to do though is just show the small weight change in the little inset plot. So what I'd like to do is I just draw a region kind of around that baseline where I want to zoom. So I can draw a little box like that. And then this time, instead of just zooming it, I'm going to do cut off the biggest part of the weight change and just keep the data inside the box. To do that, I choose Math and then Cut to Frame. Looks like I have a flat line, right? But now from the Home menu, when I choose Automatic Scaling, aha, it brings that to full scale, and I can see, yes, there is a separate weight loss. So now I can evaluate each of these curves separately. If I draw a box in that small weight change region from say 100 to around 150, select that curve, and from the Home menu I can choose Step Horizontal, and it'll calculate that mass change for me. If I want to draw on the big curve, maybe I'll say from here out to the end, I can draw a box there, select that curve, and do Step Horizontal there. When I do a full evaluation, I like to go right click on that. Actually, there's another thing. I can just, from the settings menu, I can go to optional results there, and I can turn on residue, and then I can add the residue command, or the residue. It'll display the residue for me. So I like to do that on my at the end of a TGA curve on my last step calculation, so that shows how much residue was left. Not necessary on the inset plot. But let's say I want to put a label on here. That would be nice. So if I select a curve, and I can type some characters, zoomed region. For instance, I want a little title there. Maybe I'll select that. I'll go to the Home menu and choose the font button and make that a little larger. Maybe I make it 18 point. There we go. That looks pretty good. Um, and to highlight that region a little better, maybe I want to put a box around it. It's always kind of nice if I, from the home menu, select the box, and then I can grab the corners of it and move it to the spot and just stretch it a little bit to just give myself a little bit of a frame here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe also I want to add an arrow just so I can annotate that a little further. If I go from the home menu and I click the arrows button, put an arrow in the center of my plot, I can drag it wherever I like. And then if I shift click on it, I can stretch it out. Maybe something like this. I think that's pretty good. I'd like to maybe make those lines a little thicker to just make it stand out a little bit. You can right click on it and choose edit the line type, or there's a button for it under the home menu. Make those thickness of 2. That looks pretty good. I think I got a pretty good plot here. The only thing I'm missing, I would like the sample size on there. You can always grab that from the info menu. Choose info and sample. And then I'll put the sample name and weight up here. There we go, perfect. And hey, now I have a nice plot with the inset in there. Very easy to do in the Star software. You can do the same thing with DSC or TGA curves, any secondary curve, or you can have mini inset plots too. It's easy. You're not limited to doing this just one time. You can create as many new coordinate systems as you want when you're working with the Star software. So hope that helps for anybody who's interested in doing this. Thanks a lot.